All right, Joe. Okay, well, here we go. Recording in progress. Good morning. So you guys look great. I wish we could be together. Matter of fact, I think we'll get together soon in person. I'll tell you about that kind of towards the end, about a date and a time that we have for a live coaching session, which I think we're going to do on a Friday. So in addition to everything else. But anyway, I'll tell you about that at the end. So you know what we're going to do today? We're going to celebrate the 100 recorded Zoom. I can't believe this. Are you kidding me? 100 of these. And in one way, I'm thinking, man, that's a long pandemic because that's what started this whole thing where we couldn't be together. Now we've had a lot of blessings around COVID, as we all know. As hard as it's been, there's been some silver linings. One of them is that if you look around at our Zoom today, we've got the whole state covered and we're all together, so that's a benefit. And, we'll count that as a gratitude that we can be together like this. So grab your manual. Here's what I was thinking. I'm going to do like my top 10 through the entire, like what I think this top 10 is. And you feel free to weigh in. But I'm going to go through what I think out of the manual is the top 10 kind of pages or topics, discussions, what have you, that I think will really help your business. Okay. And why? Okay. You guys ready? Is this like oh man, I'm on the edge of my chair, Will.
I literally am.
Okay. Hey, Don. And Don and Sherry are actually here on the third floor somewhere because they just walked by and said hi. But you guys ready? Hey, Jennifer Israel, good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you. I miss you. Yeah. So many good friendships in this company. I'm really grateful for all you guys. You guys ready for the first one? The first one, I think, is, if you haven't done this already, matter of fact, I'd love to know who has and who hasn't. Maybe how about that? It's page 10. Go to page 10. This is a breakdown of President Kennedy's speech from 1961. I talked about this in the business seminar. If you haven't listened to that yet on YouTube, I would highly recommend you do that. And what you're going to find out is that he's spending an awful lot of time on reason and why. And that's why I love the speech so much, because he's trying to rally the country and get everyone kind of on this concept and idea that space exploration is important to America. And we're kind of in a race for discovery. And he makes an argument about the importance of freedom. So those are all the details in the speech, but the concept that translates into what we do is to make sure that we always understand the reason and the why that we go about something, that's the most important thing. Okay, so let's take a poll. How many of you have already done this, and how many still need to? So yeah, first one. Thanks, Joe, for taking notes here. First one's page 10. How many of you still need to do that? How many have already listened to this? Agree with what I'm saying? Love to kind of get a little feedback. Don't be a tough audience, Give me some echo. Are you there? Even if you're not showered, it's okay. Go ahead and type in your chat. Kimmy said I started, we'll finish it. Good. Done. Nice. Okay. Started it. Haven't finished it yet. Okay. It's really good. He's a great speaker. So there's a lot of lessons that can be gained there. Okay, let's do another one. And I'm going to kind of skip around. Let's go to page 119. 119. Let me get there too. This is 17. Here we go. 19. Working with buyers. So why did I pick this one as my top 10? It's because right now it's just really critical to understand all your resources in working with buyers. And this is hitting hard on the buyer consultation meeting. The headline here, we're not going to dig into all the details of all these top 10, But the headline here is that you need to pause lead generation and lead conversion and have a meeting with your buyer. The same way we do our sellers. This is really critical because we're getting challenged on whether or not your 3% commission, if you're worth it. And if you haven't paused before the issue comes up and you get stuck with a 2% BAC, you're behind the 8 ball. So that's a pool term, you know, you guys, if you're like, what is that? I always wonder what does that mean? It means you shake the little 8 ball and it comes up, you know, try again. No, that's not what it means. It means you can't, if you hit the 8 ball first, you're out. That's 8 ball, right? So you can't hit it. So if there's a ball behind the 8 ball, you can't hit it, right? So you're going to lose. So, sorry. You know, I'm just entertaining myself here. Okay. We got to have buyer consultation meetings. What is in these buyer consultation meetings? Here's your plethora. It's down at the bottom of that page. And now we could go on and on and on. You know, not only what they're looking at, but technologies they need, earnest money amounts, talk about earnest money, what it's for. We could review the rep C, timing, deadlines, financial process, la, 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 la. All the things that go into where we are today. How do we get you into a home? You need to talk about that. And part of that pie chart is how you're paid. And how you're paid, you have to talk about that. Okay. So I'm gonna use this to tee up something. Look, it's on the screen here. I'm working on a new class, and it's entitled "Let's Talk About Buyer Agent Commission." And I'm really trying to bring my A game to this argument. So we're gonna have a class on that in person. I'll look up the date here in a minute, but I've got a date for that scheduled, penciled in, probably in about 3 weeks from now. So stay tuned to that. All right. So stop telling buyers you're free. Make sure you have your buyer consultation. Critical, critical, critical. Okay. And why did I say stop lead conversion? Because I get it. You met somebody, you followed up with them, you discovered what their needs were, you followed up with solution, and you're following up, and it leads to, let's go see a house, right? So we go see a house and we cross our fingers and we hope that it's a 3% BAC, but it's not. And then you learn the hard lesson. Uh-oh, I haven't had a buyer consultation. So now it looks like I'm being selfish against commission, which is ridiculous, by the way. We need therapy on that, but you know, we'll dig into that rabbit hole on another discussion. So see how critical it is to have that discussion in the beginning. Okay, let's go to number 3. Buried my list. Number 3, page 144. Another really, really important tip. This is statistics, if I remember right. Yep. Okay. So this particular tip is about when you present data and statistics, always communicate why it matters. Do not assume that they know. Okay. So if we're talking about interest rates going up right now, we're talking about increased appreciation. If we're talking about continued low inventory and we give numbers to support all of this, it doesn't translate until you say, what that means is if you're a buyer today, if you don't buy now, you'll pay more later. That's the why. You see what I mean? And they want to hear that from you. They want your professional opinion and perspective. They want you to translate it. Okay. So the saying is, knowledge is nice, but wisdom is why it matters. So bring wisdom to data. Bring wisdom to data. That's the tip. Bring your wisdom to data and statistics. Jamie's kicking out some really good images, guys, really good marketing pieces. They often have data in them. Make sure you translate why it matters. Why does it matter from a buyer's perspective? Why does it matter to a seller's perspective? And on that page, I'm saying, what does this information say about what lies ahead? Can we make a prediction here? My ability to buy and sell. That's what I mean. Always speak with why. There's a saying that goes along with this that, have you ever heard content is king? Or this came up about 4 or 5 years ago. that the more content you have, this like mass data, it's really king. It gets searched, it brings eyes, and that's a domino effect to a lot of different, benefits for who owns content. Well, if content is king, then context is saying is God. Okay. And what that means is that that's the king is nothing, right? Unless you bring context, and that's your wisdom. Okay. That's your wisdom. Okay. Let's go to page 209. Is this fun? Do you like everyone's gonna go, okay, Joe, I've gone to coaching. I've already been through the whole book, so I don't need to come no more. And what's the intranet? Sorry.
I learned it all. Learned it all. Don't need any more.
Got it all. Got it all. This may backfire on me, right? 209. Go to page 209. This might be my number one tip of like all time, right? I say this all the time. Page 209. Here's the tip. So it says forms manual and all that, right? You've got the image of the guy here. It's got the Berkshire Hathaway forms manual. He's like, doesn't have an S, but he's got a forms manual. Okay. So here's the skill set here is to use the forms as a visual presentation tool. Yep. See, Debbie agrees. My favorite, forms. So use the form as a visual presentation tool. Here's how you do it. When they ask a question, don't just answer it. Don't just say, well, yeah, earnest money, typically this, typically that, oh, well, we usually take about 2 weeks to do due diligence. Don't do that. Grab the REPSI, point to the section that answers the question, turn the document upside down, present it from a position that's the visual. Okay, so think about what that says without saying it. Okay, here's what you guys want to say. You want to say, I'm really, really good at navigating the complexity of a real estate transaction, and I know all the forms. See how amazing I am? Don't say that. You can do it, you can show it, and it will say that for you. So when you get a question, you refer to the form and you teach from the form. Okay? It's a really common teaching, we're still only talking about teaching from visuals, right? It's not like a big, huge aha. But I don't think that we use that resource as well as we should. Okay. You're right, Kimmy. The visual learner, we want to see it, right? It makes more sense when we see it. What's okay? Let me. I'm going to jump up to 50,000 feet. Every single one of our transactions, all of them, should be traced back to one word: trust. At some point, they decided to trust our agent. So there's a bigger discussion going on, right? Can I trust you? And a big part of trust, not just honesty, right? It's not integrity. It's, can you perform? Can you do the job? So how are you going to show someone that? Use the forms, right? Show them that you know them, that you've memorized them, that you're the master at them. You have a PhD in this, okay? And look, if you haven't gotten to that level, then make that a goal every single day to study forms. Okay, memorize the forms manual. You start off with the table of contents. You've got to start off with how to find things. Then you get into the detail of every single form so you can teach from it. When someone says, well, gosh, how do we handle this? I've got a house to sell and a house to buy. Awesome. What form do I go to? Subject to the sale, right? We got to walk through that. There's some options here. We've got certainly a lot of questions, but we can teach from this. We could also go to the front page of the REPSI and say, see where you have to affirm or disaffirm. Whether we have a house to sell, why is that important? What does it trigger? Okay. By the way, in our Idaho office, we find out that we don't have any subject to sale addenda that goes with the purchase contract, but it does ask whether or not the sale is conditioned upon one, which means it just goes silent. Right? Well, then now what? Right? So that's a big gaping hole. And we should not take these forms for granted, right? We also have a ton of forms in our library at Berkshire Hathaway. Look, I could go on and on and on about this. If I die tomorrow, I hope everybody would say, now remember, Will wants you to learn your forms. Like it could be on my headstone. Make sure Will wanted everyone to know their forms. Okay. I know. See, hey, you two, Jessica. Hi, how are you? Yeah, I mean, are you sure you want to subject yourself to this stuff every morning? Rachel, how are you? So I know it's just Red Bull. You guys know that, right? It's just Red Bull. Okay. All right, you ready for another one? Let's go to 169. Going to backtrack a little bit. I probably could pick a lot of these little life lessons because these are learned from my mentor, but there's a great book. You guys there, 169? Do I write this in here or not? Okay, write this down. It's not on there. Write the Oz principle. Oz principle. That's the name of the book. I think I probably have it somewhere in here. The Oz principle. So this author of The Wizard of Oz was really a genius when he built these characters. Okay, so if you remember, anyone not seen The Wizard of Oz? Seriously, that would be cool if you met someone who've never seen The Wizard of Oz. Anyone? Put in the chat if you've never seen The Wizard of Oz, because you are a unicorn. You're very special. You should watch this though. What, Mariana? We found someone. Joe, can you believe it? We found someone who's never seen The Wizard of Oz. Mariana, I want you to stop life immediately. Okay? Whatever you're doing. And just watch The Wizard of Oz, Mariana, please. Look, it's got monkeys and witches and, golden, sidewalks and stuff, and it's good that you're seeing it later in life, because when I first saw it, I was 4 years old and it gave me nightmares for years. I mean, I was totally, anyone relate to this? The monkeys? All right. Dave, sorry, this is what I do sometimes. Dave Dalton, this is what I do sometimes. I just get going, All right, Mariana's gonna watch. Hey, Dennis. Mariana's gonna watch The Wizard of Oz. Here's what was genius about this. Okay, the four characters are really just a version of us. Okay, so Dorothy was lost. Do you ever feel lost? You don't know where you're going? Why am I here? What am I doing? Tin Man, he's I'm different. I don't have the same thing you have. So I'm different. Scarecrow, I'm not smart enough. I'm never going to get this. I'm not going to be able to figure it out. Other people are smart. I'm not. All right. And then of course the lion was afraid, deals with fear. It's really just us. We've all been these characters at some point in our life, or all of them at some point in our life. So I think there's a lot of great lessons in this book. So if you want a tip here, go read the Oz Principle. I mean, it's a 300, 400 page book, and it's around, the principles of the movie, how they translate into business. Okay. Yes, we're going to, and by the way, it turns out great. See, Dorothy finds her way home, but you kind of have to deal with the monkeys every once in a while. Okay.
So Will, for bonus, do you know how L. Frank Baum came up with the name Oz?
No, what?
So he was staring, trying to find a title for this magical land that everyone ends up, and he was stuck. He had writer's block, and he was looking around his office. He saw his filing cabinets. The first drawer said A to G. The second one said H to whatever. And the last drawer on the bottom said O to Z. And that's how he came up with the name Oz.
Wow. Wow. Good trivia there, Joe. Sheesh. Yeah, look, my girls all had little parts to play in the, We they've been the munchkins, you know. Yeah. We spent a lot of time watching Oz in my world. But look, they're at the bottom, you know, Dorothy. Like, I can have a better plan. We don't put our hopes in a wizard. I can do this, you know, I got to take control of my life, make my own plan. Scarecrow, you know, I've learned many valuable, complex things. I can learn anything, you know, and the paper and the degree, that really wasn't the material thing. Like, what, the degree changed his mind? Interesting, right? Tin Man, my differences aren't a negative. They make me special and unique, right? Like, why is it that we would celebrate our differences to be a negative? It's interesting how we can sometimes do that. So, and then of course, Lion, I face my fears. I continue to tackle things that are out of my comfort zone. So yeah, great tip there. Okay, let's go to 175. I got a confession to make. This is why I picked this one. So I found myself, like, as a father on a number of times, and I told my daughter recently, a couple months ago. Okay, I'll give you the backstory. Okay, so she calls me up and she says, this is Callie, my youngest. She's got my oldest granddaughter. So, and Logan is cute as, she's so cute, you know, and she started to talk. And we've got this funny thing we do about chocolate chips. I made her a song called Chocolate Chips because she loves chocolate chips. And if you've ever heard a 2-year-old say chocolate chips, it's hilarious. So I made a song. I wrote her a song. I played the guitar to it and the whole deal. And I love Logan. That's her name. Okay. Anyway, Callie calls me up and she goes, Dad, I'm moving to St. George. And I went, what? And I was not happy about it because she was taking my granddaughter, right? You guys can relate. And I kind of wanted to play the dad card, like, no, you're not. You know, I'm just going to say, no, you can't. Sorry. Nice idea. You know, cool. Maybe one day, but, you know, not now. And, well, Dad, why? And so she started on with this kind of argument, like, my youngest daughter was the one who would call us on sleepovers. She was too afraid and we had to go pick her up. You know, she's at a friend's house to sleepover, and the phone, you know, it's Callie, you know, can you come get me? I'm scared. You know, it's 11 o'clock at night. And it was embarrassing for her. You know, she had separation anxiety. So she tells me, she goes, Dad, I want this adventure. I want this challenge right now. Like, I don't want to put roots down right now. So I want to just go see if I can make new friends, get, you know, and it's really, really hard for her. And I said to her, I said, Callie, you don't have anything to prove. I said, why are you, you know, you don't have to do this. So this is my confession. Look at this. And we've got this personal best concept. And it's the Olympics right now. And if you're watching any of these athletes, it's all coming down to this one event or the 3 events or the 5 events, whatever the, you know, it's all about that moment. And they're having to try and reach for something they've never done. And it's going to be really hard. And it's going to feel lonely. You're going to, you know, it's just you and the road. It's just you and the skis, you and the event, you know, you. And I mean, my goodness, our American athletes are flying halfway across the world into a completely different culture. And there's a lot of fear and anxiety and anxiousness and all the things that go around with trying to reach for something you've never done. So here's the confession. I often have this thing I do where I'll say, you guys are doing great, you know, like just the way you are, kind of a thing. Like I was telling my daughter, you got nothing to prove. That's only part of the truth though. So I don't want you to hang on to this. Like the other day I said, you know, how important rest is, and you know, we're so focused on like your own goals, you know, are secondary to what your client wants. And there's an unintended consequence here that if I don't get this message right, I could be like shackling you. And I don't want to do that, right? I want you to reach for something you've never done. What I would want to say with that though is If your goals aren't inspiring you, then you're doing it wrong. If your goals are heavy and cause you to compare yourself to someone else, and then you therefore don't feel good and you lose self-image and self-worth, then I don't want that. All right. That's where my love for you guys says you don't have anything to prove. Just go serve someone. I could make it that simple. Just go serve someone. At the same time, you're never going to become your best version of yourself if you don't reach for something you've never done. And it's always going to be uncomfortable. It's always going to be scary. And you're always going to need help. And you're always have to learn something new. Like I could go on and on. This idea of a personal best is to think about an area of your life. Choose something that excites you to improve. Does not hold, like it shouldn't be heavy. It can be uncomfortable, but it can't sap your self-worth. Okay. So choose an area. What would you like to improve that excites you? Break it up into measurable amounts. Then track and record it every day. Small, simple things. Have a marathon mentality about something that you can improve. And then for my goodness, have happiness and celebrate. You did it. And it's only you against you. It's not you to anyone else. Congratulations, right? Personal best. I've never done this, right? I've never done this, but I did it now. And I can celebrate that. Personal best is a real athlete kind of a way, we'll say, hey, that's a personal best. We're watching the Olympics. You'll say, well, that's a world record. That's an Olympic record. And that's nice too. But you know what's just as cool is when someone does something they've never done. So kind of in the spirit of Olympics here, you all deserve a gold medal when you've done something you've never done, right? Learn something you did not know, okay? Accomplished, finish lines, small finish lines, daily disciplines. They added up and you did, okay? Do you guys, okay, if you're in the old mill office, you know that I've been teased often because I don't take the elevator up. I'll take it down, but I don't take it up. Maybe that's, one of those kind of simple little legacy things I try to do, but I go up the stairs. And just so you guys know, in Park City, I'm on the 3rd floor. The other floor is the 6th floor. There's 24 steps between floors. And by the time I get to the 5th floor, no matter how many freaking miles I run, my legs are burning and I'm puffing, and I'm thinking, what the freak am I doing this for? The elevator would have been a whole lot easier. By the way, when I come in the lobby, like everyone goes to the elevator and I'm like, okay, I'll see you. I'll see you up there. All right. Why in the world would you do that? Well, you can probably figure it out, but it seems a very simple, subtle message that if you do little things every day, they can add up over time. So I figured this out. Okay, so let's do the math. All right, there's 24 stairs times 3 floors, so that's 72 steps every time I go up. All right, and I probably do that 4 times a day. And I get to the lobby up there, and Becky, who's our receptionist, is always laughing at me because she'll say, "Hi, Will," and I'll go, Hi, Becky, and then she goes, oh, like Steve's waiting for you. And I'll go, hi, Steve. Nice to meet you. I know, it's crazy. Thanks for the drama, Will. It's, high school acting classes, what do you do? So look, that's 28 steps a day. That's 288 every time I come to work. And then if that's 5 times a week, that's 1,400 steps. Now don't laugh at me. This is also I can eat a donut. I just want a donut. I want a freaking maple bar. because they're delicious. Okay, like 10 people just jumped off of coaching. I didn't sign up for a comedy show, Will. Okay, I want some good tips that will help my business. All right, I'm ready for my next tip. Go to page 184. Good segue, right? What does it say? So that's my good friend, Kevin Cameron, right? And Turkey wasn't supposed to retire for many, many years. We miss him every single day. And that's really what our abs look like, just so you know. I mean, we could have just, we didn't have to wear the onesie. That's a real, true, accurate representation of Kevin and Will. I'm just saying, I want to be honest with you guys. But this is all about having humor. And you better have humor with your clients. You better have fun. You better bring it. You better laugh along the way. Because if you're not laughing, then it signals lack of confidence, and it can kind of get scary, right? It's way too serious. And I know what we do matters. But if you're laughing about it, it means you're like comfortable in your environment. You guys agree? Yes, thanks for interacting. And look, I have on my page, I've got things I learned from Kevin Cameron, and one of them is humor. And he had a very common way of humor. He would set you up, and it would all be on, like he'd say, he probably would like tease me today about my vest or something, or how I was dressed. And he might say something like, look at Will, like he's always got the cool, whatever. He'd say something really nice and kind, and then he would 180 it. And it would be like a body blow of humor. Like, well, Will, do you own another vest? Because you wore that yesterday. And then everyone would laugh, right? And he was so good at it, and I'm not very good at it. I don't get 180 humor. I can't. I understand it, but I'm not very good at it. What I do know is if I've been serious for too long, it's time to freaking find a funny, because it's just not. You're not going to remember anything. You can't teach anyone anything unless they're having fun. Okay. So, do you like that one? And we'll credit Kevin Cameron for a good reminder of that. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anyone on here have one they want to add? Like you've been to coaching like for 2 years. I can pick you out. Ron, John, go through the list here. Travis, I know Travis White has been in a ton of these. Nicole's probably tired of all my stories. Nicole Anderson in Moab, because she's heard them for not just the last 3 or 4 years, but going on like what, 20? Rachel's probably heard a lot of these before too. You guys, you got any favorites? I mean, we got time for 3 more. You want to throw one in? Nobody? In it to win it. So the in it to win it is what page, John? What page, John? Was it working with sellers, right? The whole in it to win it is one of the older pieces. I think we put this together like 4 years ago, but I've thanks Debbie. I up 91 guys, but I've updated the data every year. And this is taken from the NAR annual survey they do with like, they spend $1 million on it. I think they interview like 10,000 people. This will remind you why people choose you, what they want out of you, their expectation, little, about them, their demographic and stuff like that. At the bottom of each one of those is the takeaway. So that's kind of the summary of what to remember about all of this. Go to page 98. This is probably one of the things I repeat a lot. Page 98 is relationships. Every client's a relationship, right? And we'd say, what's the key to business? And everybody would say something, but the best thing we say normally is it's about people, it's a people business. So therefore it's about relationships. So I had a mentor years ago coaching me on a few things, and then I added a couple of things in here. But let's go through this. So we'll have 98 be our 8th one. Your funnies never get old. Well, that's great, Nicole. Thanks. Okay, yeah, and all right, she's multitasking. Good for you, Nicole. No problem. All right, so what are the 6 tips? And I just look. First of all, you got to be grateful for what you have, and not focus on the things you don't have. It's really key. And in every relationship, like you guys are all in relationships, right? Some kind of relationship? Yes? Okay. I know it's tempting, to say something like, well, I wish my spouse was, or with that and the other. That's a dead end. I'm just telling you. It's actually not a dead end. There's a cliff at the end. Just, you can't see it, it's fog, you just go and you're like, oh, I've been wanting to tell you some things. And here's all the things that I wish you be or do. And then next thing you know it, you're falling. Okay. Be grateful. Okay. Be grateful. Be honest. Be loyal, listen, forgive, and perform. That's relationship. That's how I look at it. It's interesting that we could probably dovetail the fiduciary duties of statutory legal duties of an agent and dovetail them into things like honesty, loyalty, and performance. Performance is another way of saying reasonable care, and loyalty is confidentiality and client before agent, and be honest is disclosure of interest. If I'm a principal, if I have other potential conflicts within a transaction, I have to disclose that. So it's interesting that the law understands these same principles and forces it. That's what laws are. They force it. It's too bad they have to, but they do. And if you don't follow the rules, you're fined or you lose your license, or real exaggerated examples would be imprisonment or jail. All right. So it's just interesting that the law also attempts to build some of these things in relationships so that we don't harm each other. Just kind of on a funny note, being honest doesn't mean you ever tell your wife that she's having a bad hair day. No. That's not the kind of honesty we're talking about. Okay. And if she ever asks you, hey, how do I look in these jeans? You just instantly answer. I don't want you thinking about it or nothing. I just want like, boom. It should be like an instant reflex. Amazing. You look so good. Because I'm telling you, if you kind of go, well, I don't know, turn around, let me look. You're in trouble already. Okay. It's just to be, answer it. Okay. I'm going to get serious again for a minute. Sorry. Say funny, serious, funny, serious, or attempt at funny. The slogan for this year is let's get real about real estate. That's our slogan for 2022. Let's get real about real estate. Well, a piece of being real is absolutely being honest. Here's where we need to tweak, shift, and improve. It takes time to pause all the chaos and explain the complexities and the honesty about how hard it is. We are our own worst enemy. We make it look too easy. We skip over so many different things as if they just happened out of thin air. And then we're surprised when someone wonders if we're worth our commission. So let's be real. And that's back to that buyer consultation. Being real is being honest. Another part of being real. Being real is being a real person. You know, I'm looking at your faces. You guys are dads, grandfathers, mothers, sisters, you know, right? Like we're part of a family. Be a real person, relate to them, understand their reason and why we need a home. We don't need a home for the material things, right, guys? We need the home because it's an environment that is unique, that allows special moments to happen that outside of the home would not happen. That's why we want a home. Because that's what's most valuable is the things that happen in the home. Never lose sight of that. Be real person and understand what they're really after. So again, the slogan is let's get real about real estate. Let's be honest about complexities and let's be a real, approachable, authentic person. Not arrogant, not better than anyone else, not the know-it-all. We listen well. We want to have a relationship that's long-term. We'd give advice if it meant we don't get a commission all day long without hesitation, right? That's being real. You know, underneath, I think the other ones, you know, the listen and forgive. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. I suppose we could talk about forgiveness on Sundays in Sunday school if we want. But the performing one, this is where the rubber hits the road and diligence and discipline start to reveal. You got to study. And I think I've got a lesson on this. Admittedly, I was hoping you guys would come up with a couple of yourselves. So if someone can tell me what life lesson this is, it's in here somewhere. But it's, I think it's the becoming one. All right, someone find that and we'll get a page for it. But it's, oh, I think it's 171 and 173. Yeah, 171 and 173. If we're going to perform, we're going to have to keep sharpening the saw. And I'm looking at your faces. I mean, we've got some veterans who've been in this business for a very, very long time. And I'm going to still challenge you to keep learning. I mean, we all need to. So the idea here on 171 is that we were born to become more. This was kind of a poem that, well, I wrote. And it was kind of around something that a mentor was telling me. So I was trying to put something down that I would remember. So here's how it goes. Embark empowered wherever you go. When God's gifts become unstowed. Looking up, we all longed for more. Keep doing what you've never done, and you'll arrive, albeit a little sore. Then you can look down on where you once were and learn life's greatest lesson. You were born to become more. So this is kind of back to reaching for something that you don't yet have and being uncomfortable. You know, we could stand at the base of the mountain and we see the plateau that we want, but let's not forget that there's a mountain in between all of that. That's the work. Okay, that's the effort every day. That's the daily disciplines. That's the daily study. If this is not yet part of your habit, it's okay. Just try one day and then try to do 3. Okay, it's all right. Remember, goals should be inspiring. So you just kind of change it up. You know, stop reading the paper, stop consuming so much media, and start consuming something that teaches you something. And really, we have no excuse because look, there's a lot of us on the call that when we wanted to write a paper, we had to go to the library. Hey, Mom, go in the library. And okay, honey, I'm so proud of you. Good luck on your, and then we'd end up at La Casina with the boys eating tacos. Because there was no location finder, because there was no cell phones. Really interesting time. No, Ryan, you end up in the library and you have the card catalog, and there you pull all the books down on the big table, and boy, you're going to hoping to print something, right? And seriously, this is how we tried to learn. So, you wake up in the morning and go, what does my soul need? What does my profession need? Right? And you just Google it. And there, Google serves it up for you in all these different styles. I love TED Talks because they're 18 minutes long. Matter of fact, this is my latest book. I'm reading How to Be a Better Presenter and Talk Like TED. And this is all from TED Talks. And he breaks down like what makes a great TED Talk. And there's some that's got 20 million, 30 million views. Why? And I find that interesting. Like I want to learn that. I mean, if you love someone and you want to help them, then you better communicate well. So that's kind of where I get the passion for that. And I try to study it, and I try to think about ingredients of presenting and communicating. There's a lot of different things you could go learn. So go do it. And that's under this reaching for heights that are above you. Remember the mountain in between, and get out of your comfort zone a little bit and do something you've never done. Okay. All right. Last one. Last one. Let's go up to the front and let's do the hexagon. And that page is 39. So what I looked for here is a pattern. Boy, how transparent do I have to be here? All right, I'll be fully transparent. I have to admit, maybe I better not. All right, I'm gonna pull it back just a little bit. I tried it. Okay, I'll do it this way. Look, I don't. You guys know I love you. Okay, but I am who I am. Look, I served 5 years as an LDS bishop, and it taught me a lot of things. First and foremost is that our Maker loves everyone, an enormous amount, and it's really hard to comprehend. And it doesn't matter backgrounds, religious following. It doesn't matter. It's really amazing. But look, I go looking for patterns, and I found one in a spiritual story. I'll leave it at that. Okay, in a spiritual story. And this is what it was. And it really was an aha for me. And this is what I did. This is what I pulled out of it. I looked for something simplistic. And I found what I now refer to as hexagon principles, because there's 6 of them. So let's suppose I want to try to change something, better myself, do something. Well, there are 6 principles that need to happen in order for us to really improve something. So the first one is affirmation. And have you ever watch ourselves? You'll go, I don't know, pick something. I don't know, it's that time of year we all want to lose weight, I guess, or get help, the turkey, the pies, the maple bars have caught up with us. I'm in that group, I'm in that group. And dang it, Tammy brought home these chips. Here I go again. She brought home these freaking Mexican chips that were lightly salted, lightly flavored. They're delicious. I'm not even tell you what they are because they're addictive. Okay, but I kind of I just have a little bowl, and then I have 5 bowls. Next thing you know, I'm I think I just had 3,000 calories. Anyway, I've been there, right? We've all been there. But have you ever caught yourself with a negative affirmation? You ever said something like that? Like, I can't get healthy. Like, well, I just don't know dot loop. By the way, my good friend Peg Marty, who passed away, she called dot loop dumb loop. Okay. And she's like, well, look, I went on dumb loop and, okay. So, and if she were here right now, I'd be giving her grief about it and we'd all laugh. Okay. But have you ever caught yourself with a negative affirmation? I'm not tech savvy. I'm not really good at social media. I don't know forms well. Have you ever caught yourself saying some of these things? Well, they're negative affirmations. But what if we reversed that and said something like, I can learn that. I could do that. Okay, I've never done it before, but that's okay. I haven't done it yet. And yet is a very powerful word if you put at the end of sentences that are, if they're a negative affirmation, then just put yet at the end. I'm not very tech savvy yet, right? I could be, I'm just not very good at social media yet. I'm not good at Moxie, Joe, right? All these things, social on demand. I could go on and on. I'm not good at it yet. So we need an affirmation to start. The next one is this key question. I think often there's something that might be in the way. So what is it? So it's like before we jump to who can help me, we don't even know what we need help with. So maybe there is a key question here that I could just, like, what is this? And it'd be kind of like if you and I were sitting down together one-on-one and we're trying to do something we've never done, I would ask you things like, what's in the way? What's been your history? Why are we doing this, right? There's a question there. Then we move on to who can help me, which I believe our maker puts the answers in our friends and our people around us. So we play together. I have 3 granddaughters, you guys, that are 2 years old, 3. And they were all over at the house last weekend because my oldest daughter was having a baby. And so grandma and grandpa, we watched all the kids. And it was the cutest little thing watching them play with the toy kitchen. And they had these little, make believe like sandwiches they could make, all like made out of wood. And they would like, Logan would be like, here, Annie. And then Annie'd be like, oh, Logan, do you want a drink? And we just sat there and it was so cute. And then Annie took Logan's fork and Logan launched. Mine! And Annie grabbed it and Logan grabbed it. And it was chaos. All right. So our maker looks down on us and goes, they're so cute when they get along. Look at them playing together, right? Look how cute that is. And hopefully we don't have these childish blow-ups very often. But remember, the answer is in people around you. You're not alone. I need to learn something. There's the study. That was a big one. I got to go learn something. It's okay to not have all the answers. And then we get into motion with the first task. Just do something. Go to work. Like sometimes the answer to work is work. And then the next one is to measure your progress and celebrate these accomplishments along the way. It can fill your reservoir up. And remember, we're doing all of this so that we can become a better person to help someone else. That's a deeper reservoir, by the way. I was talking to Leslie Clemens about this. You can have a reservoir where you want something for you. I get that. Like I want my bank account better. I want my, retirement better. I want the toys, the house, the furniture. What else could I add? Your clothes, whatever. The trip. I get that. And there's a reservoir there. It's just not as deep, you'll find when you're helping someone else. The satisfaction you get from helping someone else lives on forever. And you'll forget what you make, but you'll never forget the teary-eyed hug at closing, a sincere thank you. That's the biggest payday you'll ever get. And it will fuel you to have these daily disciplines to learn something more. Okay. So that's the hexagon principles. It was noticed from a spiritual event that I noticed a pattern, and it's helped me a lot. So I hope it helps you. Okay. Well, oh my goodness. We're celebrating our 100th, coaching session today. And I'll make a prediction that there will be someone on this call today who will say, well, I'm good. I don't need to don't need to. I went to the whole. Will went to the whole book today. I've been to coaching. But thank you for coming, you guys. I hope was that helpful today. Was this a good way to go about it? You know, we didn't just go page 30 and then 31, 2, 3, 4. We could have. I thought we'd mix it up today, and it seemed like it was needed for me to mix it up. So I'm glad it was helpful to you. I kind of like it to always do takeaways, mainly because it's for your own good, for you to think about one thing, just one, that rose to the top that you want to try to implement or it meant most to you. Could you put that in the chat real quick? And and thanks for the thanks, you guys. I do appreciate it. So if there is something that kind of stands out, go ahead and put that in there. And I love the feedback. And thanks, Linda, Stephanie, Debbie, appreciate you guys. Rhonda, thank you. Yeah, John, thanks. Working on our personal best. Yeah, maybe I could do 5 stairs today instead of 4. So, yeah. The PB baby. Which one's that, Steph? Oh, personal best, baby. Okay, got it. Yep. Be grateful for what you have. Very good principle to happiness. Yep. So true, Jessica. Thanks. And Rachel's glad you guys could join today. I hope that's good food for the soul, and so glad you're part of the team now. So see, this really isn't work, by the way. I don't know if you figured this. This is fun, you know. And look, you guys, don't tell the Ronies that we'd all do this for free. Okay, that's our secret. Okay, just don't tell them that. Oh my goodness. I just have way too much fun. Oh man. Well, hey, I love you guys. Thanks for the feedback. I'll let you go. Go have